Oh, hello there. If I were to guess, you are most likely American and bored of NFL preseason, the unending Jake Paul boxing matches, or are looking to simply expand the capacity of your degenerative sports addiction. Well, you've come to the right place. Regardless of your country's origin, you've clicked this video in the desperate pursuit of finally watching the world sport, soccer. Unless you're most of the world, then it's football. So if I say football during this video, don't think of Tom Brady. Think Ronaldo dancing in the corner. Think Messi embarrassing defenders. Think Luis Suarez trying to carbo load mid-match. But as an American myself, I want to find you, a competition that will dazzle and shine, one that is not only top-tier competition, but can be addicting and lead to tears of joy, screams of disappointment, and radical and unsafe gambling choices. And while many soccer leagues can support such radical behavior, it just doesn't fill that deep desire in your soul for utter heartbreak and overwhelming disappointment. So, without further ado, welcome to the UEFA Champions League. The tournament of tournaments, the end-all be-all, the coup de grace. This is the competition every football fan dreams of their team winning. In layman's terms, think of every country in Europe, and each country has their own professional soccer league. And then the best teams from each country qualify for the UEFA Champions League to decide who is the ultimate king of Europe. That's the Champions League. And the Champions League final is the biggest tournament final in sport. Oh wait, the World Cup, right. Well, it's the second biggest. Cricket World Cup 2? Wait, what number is it actually? 15? Well, okay. It's still pretty big, alright? I swear. Just a little over a week ago, the 2021-22 tournament teams were finalized. So now, I present you the totally factual and not in any way subjective description of each team in the UEFA 2021-22 Champions League. So let's go down the rabbit hole and see how this tournament works. The UEFA Champions League is made of 8 groups. 4 teams in each group. Each team plays 1 home and 1 away match against every team in the group. So 6 total games. A win is 3 points, a draw is 1 point, a loss is 0 points. The 2 teams with the most points in the group move on to the round of 16. In the elimination bracket, each contest consists of 2 matches, a game at each team's home stadium. Whoever scores the most goals over 2 matches moves on. If they tie, overtime and/or a penalty shootout decides the winner. They do that for every round until the final, which is a single match played at a neutral site. If you didn't understand all of that, it's like the movie Inception. Eventually it'll click, and you'll go, oh. This English team is the cream of the crop when it comes to talent, trophy winning, and endless cash from Arab oil billionaires. But they just can't seem to ever win that final game in this tournament. They exited the quarterfinal in 3 straight years, and last year made it to the final before their English rivals Chelsea bodied them. And I mean that literally. This year they are a favorite, with superstars like Kevin De Bruyne, UEFA Defender of the Year Ruben Diaz, and elite manager Pep Guardiola. So root for them if you want a chance at watching a winning side, but know that their owners might have committed human rights violations. Paris Saint-Germain. Remember in the NBA when the Golden State Warriors had the best regular season in NBA history and then signed Kevin Durant? That's what PSG is right now. They had 2 of the best players in the world, and now just signed the best goalkeeper of last summer's Euro tournament. They also now have the elite talents of Ramos, Wijnaldum, and Hakimi. And, they just signed the greatest player of all time, Lionel Messi. So root for them if you rooted for LeBron in the Big 3 in Miami back in the day, but know that they're run by Qatar Sports Investments. So they run on oil money and might exploit migrant workers. They finished 2nd in the Bundesliga last season and now have an American manager, Go USA. They lost 2 important defenders but are sneaky. Why sneaky? I don't know. They just are. They are competitive, time and time again. And they made it to the Final 4 in 2020, but got blown out by PSG. Root for them if you love a dark horse pick in this group, but know Man City and PSG are perhaps the top 2 clubs in football. Don't back them if you have a low tolerance for pain. So what I've learned is that this Belgian side is the runt of the litter here for sure, but they have a chance to make it somewhat interesting. They were the best team in Belgium last season. They know how to play soccer well, but these other teams are just massive. It's like if Manny Pacquiao fought Muhammad Ali in his prime. Sure, Manny is one of the greats, but if a 6'3", 225-pound Ali fought a 5'6", 145-pound Manny, that's a tough one to bet on Manny. So I'd say don't pick Club Brugge unless you really love Manny Pacquiao. This group is the group of death, where every team is talented enough to make it all the way, and leading it is Liverpool, led by elite manager and semi-professional cheerleader Jurgen Klopp. They have one of the best attacks in all of football, arguably the best defender in football, and a passionate fan base that talks like this.
Game changer night! Come mate!
They're owned by Fenway Sports Group, in which LeBron James is a part owner, so root for them if you like the Boston Red Sox. Don't if you hate LeBron. This Spanish side is like that younger brother that grows up and now finds ways to beat you at everything. I mean, years ago, they were in the shadow of Ronaldo's Real Madrid and Messi's Barcelona. But now, they're the winner of Spain's La Liga. Their team is stacked, their manager Simeone is a consistent winner, and even at 34 years old, Luis Suarez is still a very capable elite striker. Root for them if you like an underdog that isn't an underdog anymore, but I'll be rooting against them because of Suarez's cannibalistic past. This Italian powerhouse is back after a 7-year absence and just upgraded at attack with the acquisition of World Cup and Champions League winner Olivier Giroud. They also have a 39-year-old Zlatan Ibrahimovic off the bench, and a manager who looks like a nightmare father-in-law. This is definitely a worthy underdog pick, but be warned this group is tough, and they're fighting an uphill battle. The Portuguese side is the equivalent to Eli Manning and the Giants in the NFL a decade ago. They are a solid team in season, but in the playoffs, they are ruthless killers. They found a way to eliminate Ronaldo's Juventus last year as major underdogs, and even beat the eventual winners Chelsea before losing on goal difference. Cheering them on is a great Cinderella story, but they did win it all in 2004, so if they won it again, it wouldn't be as cool. Every team in Europe tried to buy Dortmund striker Erling Haaland this summer, and Dortmund refused to let him go. This kid is special, like really special. Like when Air Bud came on and scored relentlessly and no one knew what the was going on special. They also are full of young talent, and the group should be relatively easy. Root for them if you are under 25, but if you hate their blinding use of the color yellow, I'd pick someone else. We are talking superstars here, people. Pedro Goncalves, Nuno Santos, Javaine Cabral, I have no idea who any of these people are. But they won the Portuguese league last season, so they have to be good, right? In all honesty, they have a strong young team, but they're still relatively unknown on the world stage, so pick them if you're good with names, don't if you suck at them. I'll never forget how they were seconds away from going to the final in 2019, until Lucas Moura of Spurs scored with seconds remaining. That heartbreaking loss has haunted Ajax ever since. But last year, in the Netherlands, they won their league by 16 points. That's a lot, if you didn't know. Their manager was also highly sought after, but ended up staying. The team is a Dutch powerhouse with no visible qualms, so root for them if you're one of the good guys. Don't if you take joy from other people's misery. While winner of the Turkish League last season, this team is another one of those different weight class teams. They made a move to acquire striker Michy Batshuayi on loan from Chelsea, who is a solid player, but otherwise, it will be a massive undertaking for them to make it out of this group, so root for them if you receive a vision from God himself. This Spanish juggernaut was feared by all of Europe a few years ago, but since the departure of Cristiano Ronaldo and the disappointing performance from a few recent signings, Madrid now is struggling, but struggling in like Madrid terms. Like in the NFL when the New England Patriots with Brady made the playoffs and sometimes lost in like the second round, they're still loaded with immense talent. Karim Benzema is a top striker and Thibaut Courtois is a top goalkeeper. They're also still an enormously popular team worldwide, so go for it if you want to find merch easily, but steer clear if you want to have any type of real personality. Good news, they won the Italian league last season. Bad news, they lost their manager, walking Italian stereotype Antonio Conte. They also sold top goal scorer Romelu Lukaku and elite defender Achraf Hakimi. They had a lot of debt and sold players to recover from it, and supporters were furious, calling it a sell-off. No one knows what the hell is about to happen, but they're still favored by bookies. So root for them if you're an agent of chaos, but resist that urge, cause they may make you throw things. They barely made it into the tournament this year after finishing second in the Ukrainian league last season and barely beating Monaco to qualify by an own goal in extra time. They did beat Real Madrid twice last season in the group stage, but still failed to qualify by goal difference. If you have a passion for Ukrainian football and still feel sad Ukraine has to deal with Chernobyl, I guess you can cheer them on. This Moldovan club is the first Moldovan club ever to qualify for the Champions League. Or wait, they're not Moldovan. They're Transnistrian? They broke away from Moldavia and formed their own unrecognized country. And through that, the new country lets FC Sheriff create their own laws and inevitably forged a monopoly that now controls mobile phones, landline phones, and local TV. And through their control of media, they can sway elections and were just accused of bribing locals to vote in the 2021 parliamentary election. Sign me up! In soccer terms, they are the least likely side to win out of all 32 teams. But the electoral fraud charge gives them a badass vibe, so you could cheer them on for the destruction of freedom and world peace, but I'd say don't. Think 90s Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, 2000s Tiger Woods, doped up Lance Armstrong on a bike. Bayern has finished first in the Bundesliga the last 9 years and won the Champions League in 2013 and 2020. They boast the German league's top scorer in Robert Lewandowski, goalkeeping legend Manuel Neuer, and a roster up and down of star-studded talent. No one would ever blame you for rooting for them, nor would anyone call you a loser. Being a Bayern fan bestows upon you the automatic title of alpha. And yet, all that winning can be boring. Imagine you're a psychopath and decided to watch The American Office starting with season 8, after Steve Carell left. You think that the show is funny and the characters are quirky, but you don't think it's as good as your friends said it was. You are then directed by a sane person to watch it from the beginning, and you meet the character of Michael Scott, who makes you laugh so hard you wet yourself. Well, Barcelona's version of Steve Carell is gone. Lionel Messi, the man who has 6 Ballon d'Ors, 10 La Liga titles, and 4 Champions Leagues, has left after 18 years. Now with the team in massive amounts of debt, they will have to make do with the players that they have. With Messi's departure, a new era begins, and the team will try to find a new identity. The question is, will they compete or fold over from being in all this debt? Another Agent of Chaos choice, but with higher upside. But just know that Steve Carell's gone, and he's not coming back. This Portuguese club has been a consistent top presence in Europe for a while now. Nicolas Otamendi and Adel Taarabt are 2 well-known players from the club. Did you notice all of these Portuguese teams are pretty much the same? Talented but not favorites, overlooked but can surprise. So if you like surprises and want a surprise, Benfica is a solid choice. They won the Ukrainian League, they are the only team in the group to never win a Champions League, and their club name is cool as hell. In Greek it means power and movement. I also bought Denis Popov for my FIFA career mode, and he was a stud. Otherwise, there is very little chance they do anything in this group, but if you believe in miracles, go buy a Ukrainian flag and have at it. This group features a single powerhouse club, and it's Man United. World Cup winner Paul Pogba, Portuguese superstar Bruno Fernandes, newly acquired wonder winger Jadon Sancho, defender Rafael Varane. Oh, and they just got Cristiano Ronaldo. Last season they made it to the Europa League final, which for those who don't know is the European competition for teams that aren't good enough to be in the Champions League final. Not making it out of the group would get everyone fired. So think about it. If you root for them, best case scenario, you win, celebrate, and get hammered drunk. Worst case, you yell for everyone to be fired and still get hammered drunk.
We were shit, man.
Villarreal were also in the Europa League, and they beat Man United in the final. And their manager, Unai Emery, won an unprecedented 3 Europa League titles in a row as manager of Sevilla. It's the equivalent to winning the NIT in college basketball every year. Or, take my analogy, flirting with 3 stunningly attractive women and ending up becoming best friends with every single one of them. Sure, if you're not going to go for the home run, at least you can brag to your friends that you hang out with them all the time, but we all know you're in the friend zone. So if you want to follow Unai Emery's journey to finally get out of the friend zone and risk it all, I suggest buying a Gerard Moreno jersey and just go nuts. No, not Atlanta. Atalanta. They are without a doubt the ultimate sleeper team in the entire tournament. They have a smaller budget, but they always outperform it. However, they have a knack for being in perpetual transition. Whenever a player becomes highly sought, they sell them and find someone new. So I would say cheer them on, but don't buy a jersey. They won the Swiss League by 31 points last season, which is insane. The average age of their team is 23 years old, which is double insane. But they haven't made it out of the group stage since 1958. which is a sad insane. But their uniforms are dope, and their 20-year-old center forward Felix Mambimbi is fun to watch. But he also did a paid partnership on Instagram where he focused his face, but did not focus the product at all. So you could back them up, but don't if you're looking to start a small business. So while PSG are the undisputed masters of the French league in both talent and tons of money, Lille did find a way to edge out PSG by 1 point to win the Ligue 1 title last season. With an eighth of the budget, it's the American difference between the Miami Marlins bettering the New York Yankees over the course of a 162-game season. For that to happen again, it'll be a Herculean task. Their manager resigned, and they sold several key players. But if you root for Americans, Timothy Weah is a great player to cheer on. There's still a top French side, but European-wise, this group is up for grabs. Might be better to just flip a coin for anyone here. Remember when I mentioned before that Unai Emery and the friend zone analogy? Well, this was the team he was managing when they won 3 Europa League titles in a row. And before he was manager, Sevilla had already won 2, and after he left, they won the Europa League again in 2020. That's 6 times Sevilla has been friend zoned. I mean, won the Europa League. They also have Eric Lamela, who scored one of the most insane goals I've ever seen, and his nickname is Coco, which is a super underrated Pixar film. Very underrated. Actually, you should go watch it and then watch Sevilla play, but watch Coco first. First off, what a name. Secondly, they have a striker named Wout Weghorst. So he's Wolfsburg's Wout Weghorst. That's poetry in motion. He also scored 25 goals last season, and Wolfsburg is always a top squad in Germany. And green isn't represented much in this tournament, so if you're a color lover, there's a reason. But the sad truth is this group is a toss-up, and long-term, they seem to always be behind Dortmund and Bayern Munich. So the company Red Bull bought this Austrian club and was like, yeah, let's just shove our full company name right on it. No initials, no subtlety, just Red Bull. Did you know that the Seattle Mariners are owned by Nintendo? Just imagine if they were the Nintendo Seattle Mariners. Anyway, they're regularly in the group stage. While they do sell players a lot, they keep finding new talent, and their team is young. But listen, it's as simple as this. If you're one to late night binge on Red Bull and game while screaming God knows what into a Call of Duty lobby, your search for a team is done. They not only won it all last season, but have improved their lineup drastically, with the acquisition of Belgian striker and gorgeously bearded Romelu Lukaku. Their defense is stout, their midfielders are elite, and they also possess Captain America himself, Christian Pulisic. This is a great team to root for if you're new to the soccer space, but they're also sneered at by a lot of other English supporters who are sick of the money being poured into the club by the controversial Russian billionaire owner, Roman Abramovich. Imagine winning a lot of trophies, but not all of the trophies. So you fire the manager in an effort to win all of the trophies, but the new manager you hire wins you less trophies. So you fire the new manager and bring back the previous manager, beg for forgiveness, and ask if he can win a lot of trophies again. That's what Juventus just did. Max Allegri is back and plans to bring back the winning culture in Juventus he had for 9 years. They did get rid of Cristiano Ronaldo, which is a massive loss, but financially they will benefit greatly. They also possess many talented players, including a personal favorite, Federico Chiesa, so I'd root for him. But they also have Alvaro Morata, who has had his moments. The Russian champions are an underdog to Juventus, but could find a way in. Never underestimate the Russians. While most teams in the competition are loaded with talent from all over the world, a large majority of this team are just pretty much Russian, but unfortunately some fans make it impossible to support them. In 2014, Brazilian player Hulk was subjected to racial abuse, and in 2019, they subjected a new Brazilian player Malcolm to racist banners and chants. So, just don't root for them. The Swedish team had to play through 4 playoffs just to make it to the tournament, but against these 3 teams, it'd be a miracle to get into the top 2. Both Chelsea and Juventus possess a single player that is worth more than the entire Malmo roster combined. So I'd say find another team, but if you insist on rooting for them, just make sure you believe that miracles happen. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll be making another video for when the group stages end, so look forward to that. If you choose a team from this video alone, comment it. I'd love to know what completely factual point of mine was so convincing. Thanks for watching.